Have you ever caught a man looking at you with that kind of stare? The one that almost makes your skin tingle. You know the look I'm talking about. It's not just lust. It's not just love. It's that mix of desire and devotion, like he's imagining 1,000 things he wants to do to you but can't say out loud. Women often underestimate just how vivid a man's fantasies become when he's not only attracted to you, but emotionally invested. Because when a man truly loves a woman, his imagination isn't shallow, it's primal, powerful, and deeply intimate. Most people think men's fantasies are simple, quick, physical, one-dimensional. But here's the truth: when his heart belongs to you, his fantasies transform. They become layered with emotion, craving, and this overwhelming need to express his love in ways that consume every part of you. He doesn't just want to touch your body. He wants to protect you, claim you, worship you, dominate you, and ultimately lose himself in you. And here's the part that most women don't realize: these fantasies aren't just about what he gets. They're about what you feel. They're about making you shiver, making you melt, making you feel like you're the only woman on the planet who could bring him to this point of obsession. That's why a man in love can be more intense, more passionate, and yes, more addictive than you've ever imagined. So today I want to reveal the 5 deepest fantasies men have about the women they truly love. Because once you understand them, you'll see him and the way he desires you in a completely new light. And I promise you this: after today, you'll never doubt his hunger for you again. When a man truly loves a woman, one of the most powerful fantasies that plays out in his mind is the urge to protect her. And I don't just mean in the obvious physical sense, like shielding her from harm or stepping in if someone disrespects her. I mean on every level: emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Men are wired to want to be needed, but when he's in love, that need becomes something deeper. It's not about ego, it's about purpose. He wants to know that he's the person you can lean on when life gets heavy, that when you feel weak, he can be your strength, and when you feel afraid, he can be your safe place. This isn't just a role for him, it's a fantasy, because in his mind, the sexiest thing he can do for the woman he loves is to become the shield that nothing can break through. Think about it: when he sees you stressed, when he notices your shoulders carrying weight you don't talk about, when he hears your voice tighten because the world is demanding too much from you, a part of him instantly imagines swooping in to make it better. He wants to wrap you in his arms so tightly that everything outside fades away. He fantasizes about being the one you call when you can't handle something on your own. Not because he thinks you're incapable, you're perfectly capable, but because the thought that you would choose him to be your safe harbor makes him feel chosen in the deepest way. Protection to him is intimacy. It's proof that he matters to you beyond fun, beyond sex, beyond surface level attraction. It's his chance to show you devotion without even saying a word. What's interesting is that this fantasy doesn't just appear when things are going wrong. Even in ordinary moments, he imagines scenarios where he can step up for you, walking you across the street, holding you close when it's late at night, pulling you tighter against him when someone stares a little too long. In his head, these aren't small gestures, they're powerful demonstrations of love, because for a man who's in love, protecting you is his way of saying, I've got you. You don't have to go through life alone anymore. That reassurance, that idea of being your anchor, becomes almost addictive for him. And here's where it gets even sexier. When you allow a man to protect you, when you soften enough to let him step into that role, it doesn't make you weak. It makes you magnetic. It makes him feel like he's fulfilling his most primal role as a partner. A lot of women think, if I let him protect me, I'll look dependent, I'll look needy. But the truth is, men don't fantasize about protecting women who need them. They fantasize about protecting women who could stand strong on their own, but who choose to lean on them anyway. That choice is what lights him up inside, because suddenly he feels irreplaceable. And there is no greater aphrodisiac for a man in love than the sense that he is the one person you trust to hold you when you're at your most vulnerable. When he imagines protecting you, it's not just about the shield, it's about what happens after. It's the way he pictures your body softening into his, your head resting on his chest, your breath slowing as you feel safe in his arms. He fantasizes about kissing your forehead, about you closing your eyes, because in that moment, you don't have to carry everything on your own. To him, that safety he gives you is more intoxicating than the wildest night of passion. Because once you feel safe, your guard comes down, your heart opens wider, and that's when the deepest intimacy begins. So when you see him stepping in, when you notice the little ways he tries to take care of you, understand this, it's not just a habit, it's a fantasy. It's him living out one of the most powerful desires a man has when he's truly in love. He doesn't just want to make love to your body, he wants to protect your soul. And when you let him, you don't just fulfill his fantasy, you make him fall for you even harder. One of the rawest, most magnetic fantasies a man has for the woman he loves is the idea of dominating her, not in a cruel or careless way, but in the most loving, protective, the passionate way imaginable. When a man is truly invested, his fantasies around dominance aren't just about power, they're about trust. He craves the experience of you surrendering to him, of letting go of control, of handing yourself over completely because you feel safe enough in his presence to do so. That surrender is intoxicating. It's what makes him want to pin you against the wall, hold your wrists above your head, whisper things in your ear that only the two of you will ever know, and watch your body respond to his command. To him, this isn't just sex. It's proof of how deeply you trust him. You see, most men don't fantasize about dominating every woman. They fantasize about dominating the woman they love. Because with her, it means something. It means he's earned her vulnerability. He imagines scenarios where he takes control not just to satisfy himself, but to free her from the constant need to hold it all together. So many women spend their days making decisions, solving problems, carrying responsibilities. And in his fantasy, he strips all of that away. He takes over. He doesn't want you thinking. He wants you feeling. He wants to be the one who makes your breath hitch, your body arch, your mind go blank with desire. That's not just lust, that's devotion hidden inside passion. And make no mistake, this dominance isn't about disrespect, quite the opposite. It's about reverence. It's about him wanting to explore every ounce of you, to push you to places you've never been before, while at the same time holding you so firmly in his care that you know you'll never be harmed. In his mind, the ultimate turn on is your response, the sound of your voice breaking when you whisper his name, the way your body melts under his touch when you finally let go of control. He's not fantasizing about conquering you. He's fantasizing about you surrendering willingly because he's earned that level of closeness. It's also deeply emotional for him. When he pictures dominating you, he imagines more than just the physical act. He imagines the moment right after, where you're lying there breathing heavily, your body still trembling from the intensity, and you look at him with eyes that say, I trust you. That's the part that gets him. That's the part that makes his chest swell with a mixture of pride, passion, and love. Because dominance without love is just power. But dominance with love is connection, it's bonding, it's addictive. And here's something most women don't realize. A man's fantasy of dominance isn't always about sex itself. Sometimes it's about moments of everyday intimacy. The way he might want to pull you suddenly into a kiss without warning. The way he might fantasize about bending you over the kitchen counter just to remind you of the fire that burns between you. Or even the way he wants to take your face in his hands, hold your gaze so firmly that you can't look away, and kiss you like you're the only woman on the planet. These are all little expressions of that same fantasy, the desire to take control and have you willingly give in. When a man loves you, domination becomes more than a bedroom game. It becomes a way of deepening the intimacy. He wants to show you that he can take you to places you can't take yourself, that he can unlock parts of you that only reveal themselves when you're completely unguarded. And when you let him, when you surrender in those moments, you're not just fulfilling his fantasy, you're feeding the deepest part of him that craves not just your body, but your trust, your devotion, your surrender. And that is what makes him come back to you again and again, because he knows no one else could ever give him that same mix of passion and love. One of the most misunderstood but deeply powerful fantasies men have when they love a woman is the fantasy of worship. And I don't mean worship in a superficial way, like compliments tossed around without thought. I mean worship in the rawest, most intimate form, where every fiber of his being wants to make you feel like you are the center of his world. When a man is truly in love, he doesn't just want to sleep with you. He wants to honor you, to cherish you, to elevate you in a way that makes you feel like no one else exists. In his fantasies, your body becomes sacred, your pleasure becomes his mission, and the thought of unraveling you with his touch, his lips, his words drives him wild. He fantasizes about moments where you completely lose yourself because of what he's doing to you. He wants to kiss every inch of your skin, trace every curve, and memorize the places that make you gasp. He wants to make you shiver, to see you close your eyes and surrender to sensation, knowing he is the reason your body is trembling with desire. It's not just about sex, it's about devotion. It's about him imagining that he can give you more pleasure, more intensity, more satisfaction than you've ever felt in your life. And for a man in love, that fantasy is electric because your ecstasy becomes his ecstasy. Your release becomes his victory. What makes this fantasy even more powerful is that it flips the script most people assume about men. Society often paints men as selfish in their desires, but when a man loves a woman, he becomes obsessed with her pleasure. He doesn't just fantasize about you satisfying him, he fantasizes about watching you unravel because of him. He imagines the sound of your moans, the arch of your back, the way your fingers dig into him when you can't take it anymore. Those responses fuel him more than anything he could experience on his own. In fact, half of his satisfaction comes from seeing how completely he can make you lose control. And here's the beautiful part for him: worship doesn't stop in the bedroom. It's also in the little things he imagines doing outside of it. He fantasizes about holding your face when you're talking, brushing your hair out of your eyes just to stare at you a little longer, kissing your forehead in the middle of a crowded room, or pulling you close on the couch because he can't stand to not touch you. These small gestures might feel ordinary to you, but to him, they are extensions of the same fantasy. The desire to honor you, to adore you, to let you feel how much you mean to him. When he imagines worshiping you, he doesn't picture you as ordinary. In his mind, you're a goddess, and he's the lucky one who gets to serve you, please you, and make you feel divine. And the truth is, men only reach this level of worship when they're deeply in love, because love turns attraction into reverence. It turns desire into devotion. And that's why this fantasy feels so intoxicating for him, because it's not just about his body wanting yours, it's about his soul craving connection with yours. So when you notice him lingering in the way he touches you, when you see how much effort he puts into making sure you're satisfied, don't underestimate it. You're not just being pleasured, you're being worshipped. And that is one of the most intimate, sacred fantasies a man has for the woman he loves. When you allow him to live out that fantasy, you don't just feed his desire, you make him feel like the man he always wanted to be, the one who can give you everything you've ever craved and more. When a man loves a woman, one of the fantasies that burns strongest in his mind is the fantasy of claiming her publicly. And let's be clear, this isn't about ownership in the toxic sense. It's about pride. It's about that primal urge to show the world without saying a word that the woman he's with is the one he has chosen above all others. He fantasizes about holding your hand in a crowded room, about pulling you into a kiss on the street when people are watching, about wrapping his arm around you at a party so everyone knows exactly where his attention lies. To him, those moments are electric. They are declarations. And in his mind, nothing is sexier than the chance to show the world that the woman he desires, the woman he dreams about, the woman he would move mountains for, is you. This fantasy doesn't come from insecurity. It comes from admiration. He looks at you and thinks, she's mine. I get to be with her. I get to love her. And he wants other people to see that. He wants the world to know that he's not just with any woman, he's with you. It's that instinctual male pride mixed with devotion, and it makes him crave those public displays of affection. He doesn't just picture kissing you in private. He pictures the way he can pull you close in front of others so they understand that the connection you share is undeniable. That little squeeze of your waist, that lingering kiss on your lips, that protective arm around your shoulders, it's all part of the same fantasy of claiming you with confidence and love. What's even more powerful is that in his mind, these public gestures aren't about ego, they're about reassurance. By kissing you in front of everyone, by lacing his fingers with yours where people can see, he's silently telling you, I'm not hiding you, I'm not keeping you in the shadows. I want everyone to know that I choose you every day, in every way. And that fantasy for him feels intoxicating because it's his way of celebrating you openly, of showing off the treasure he feels lucky enough to hold. He doesn't want to keep his love a secret. He wants to broadcast it with every touch. Men in love often fantasize about these little moments in surprising ways. He might imagine introducing you proudly to his friends or his family, feeling that rush when they see how incredible you are. He might daydream about walking into a room with you on his arm, noticing the stares and thinking, yes, she's with me. It's not about possession, it's about pride and gratitude. You are his prize, his partner, his queen, and in his fantasies. He wants everyone to witness it. And let's not ignore the erotic layer that lingers underneath. There is something undeniably sexy about the idea of being affectionate with you in public, knowing that other people can see it. The idea of stealing a kiss when you're not supposed to, or touching you in ways that push the boundary of what's appropriate in public, only adds fuel to the fire. He fantasizes about the thrill of that, the risk of being seen, and the undeniable heat that comes from showing the world you're his while knowing there are still parts of you only he will ever get to experience. That mix of public claim and private intimacy is intoxicating. So when a man in love pulls you close in public, when he kisses you suddenly in front of others, or when he proudly introduces you as his partner, understand this, it's not just an act of affection. It's a fantasy he's living out. It's him feeding that primal desire to claim you, to honor you, to show the world that he's not just lucky to have someone, he's lucky to have you. And when you allow him that moment, when you respond to it with the same pride and passion, you fuel one of the deepest fantasies of a man in love, the fantasy of belonging to each other so completely that everyone can see it. At the core of all his fantasies, beyond protection, beyond dominance, beyond worship or claiming you in front of others, there is one that goes even deeper, the fantasy of completely losing himself in you. This is the fantasy that strips away everything else. It's not about control, it's not about pride, it's not even about proving himself. It's about surrender. When a man is in love, the thought that excites him most is the idea of being consumed by you, of letting go of the world and dissolving into the intimacy the two of you share until he can't tell where he ends and you begin. This is the ultimate craving because it takes him out of his head and grounds him in the one place he wants to live forever, inside you, with you, as part of you. He fantasizes about those moments where time disappears, where the outside world stops mattering, and it's just the two of you wrapped up in a bubble that no one else can touch. He imagines kissing you until his lips ache, touching you until his hands can't stop trembling, holding you so close that even air feels like it's in the way. In these fantasies, he doesn't just want your body. He wants your essence, your energy, your soul. He wants to drown in the sound of your laughter, in the way you breathe when you're close, in the subtle movements of your body pressed against his. It's not about sex alone, it's about connection so powerful that it feels spiritual, like something sacred that only you and he could ever understand. And what makes this fantasy so addictive for him is the loss of control. Men spend their lives trying to be strong, to be composed, to keep things under control. But in his deepest fantasy, he doesn't want control anymore. He wants to let go. He wants to surrender to you, to your touch, to your presence, until he's not thinking, not planning, not worrying, just feeling. He wants to be undone by you, to lose himself in the way your body responds to him, in the fire of your kiss, in the closeness of your embrace. For him, that's freedom, that's liberation. And that's the kind of intimacy that no physical act on its own could ever equal. So when you notice him pulling you in tighter during a kiss, when he lingers in your arms a little longer after making love, when he stares at you like he's trying to memorize every detail of your face, understand this, those aren't just habits. Those are glimpses of his fantasy coming alive. That's him in real time losing himself in you because it's the one place he feels completely alive. And for a man who is truly in love, that is the ultimate dream, to dissolve into the woman he loves so completely that nothing else matters. So now you know the truth. When a man is truly in love, his fantasies aren't shallow. They aren't just about sex in the way most people assume. They are layered, powerful, and deeply connected to his heart. He fantasizes about protecting you, dominating you in the most loving way, worshiping you, claiming you publicly, and ultimately losing himself completely in you. And the reason these fantasies are so powerful is because they all come back to the same thing, his desire to merge his passion with his devotion, to not just be the man who touches your body, but the man who moves your soul. Here's the real magic when you understand these desires. You can begin to meet him in those fantasies. You can allow him to step into that protective role. You can surrender to his dominance. You can let him worship you. You can lean into his public pride, and you can hold him close enough to let him lose himself in you. When you do that, you don't just give him what he wants. You ignite a cycle of passion that keeps him hooked on you forever. So, my question for you is this: which of these fantasies will you let him live out with you? Because the moment you step into them, you stop being just the woman he loves. You become the woman he never, ever stops craving. If this spoke to you, don't just watch. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share it with another woman who needs to hear this, because when you understand a man's deepest fantasies, you unlock his deepest love.